Right, I find myself making another video almost because I've got half an hour to spare because I've just done some varnishing and there's not much more I wanted to get done this morning. I'll go off Axion's comment, I think, because this is a short thing I want to say. We in comments, we being mainly Axel and I, we're kind of getting round to saying what Axion is going to say is that we can kind of understand the simple things, but soon as concepts become complicated, too complicated, we can't understand them. I'm going to drag that back again, read Axion's, top of Axion's comment, and then try and drag that back. I see it as sort of like a building block wall. At base, call it the first course, there is a lot of we can nod our heads in agreement to. So I like the cautious way, this is why I'm reading it. We can nod our heads to it. As we build successive courses, the wall becomes more and more unstable, very much in our own minds, let alone in communication. So we've got the idea of you fuck off, or you go that way, I go that way. Almost like, as long as it's just words that can kind of stand in for what we could almost do with sign language, we could say, because we don't want to throw the word understanding out completely, I think. We can understand. As soon as it gets more complicated than that, we don't understand. But that is only me throwing a dog to the word people, or the fact that we've got to use words, because me this way, you that way. I think that's the other way around this time. What I think I want to say is we don't really understand that either. It's simple, it could be communication, sign language, whatever, but when what it is as Axion says, it's unambiguously understood, or it's just a concept that's been created, me going this way, you going that way. It's unambiguous. It will have a very high proportion, whatever the right way of saying it is, of it happening as it was intended, because there's no ambiguousness in it. It will happen as said. But I think that's all it is. I don't think there's anything in the brain that we can say understands it. What, again, I'm rolling this back to, I think, pulling it into somewhere where it's more difficult. But I think if we want to build, I think we have to kind of understand that the brain doesn't go in for understanding because it just does not need to. There's a part of the brain that has understood me as a concept. It's understood as a concept, and it's understood that to be you, and that as a concept, and it's setting off a series of dominoes that are going to go down. And because it's so simple, it's only, say, 3 dominoes this way and 3 dominoes this way, and that one's 3 dominoes this way and 3 dominoes that way. It's going to happen right. But there's nothing in the head that understands what's going on. I could say that there's no need to, but I just don't think there's any understanding going on. There can be watching while it's happening of what's going on. And this is going to be a quick video. Okay, we're only 5 minutes. Let's say it's You, down the shop, get ice cream. All right, make it a bit more nice. When you're going down the shop to get ice cream, I think what happens is, you know, my pyramid, my priority pyramid, somehow that ice cream shop come back home gets rammed to the top of the priority pyramid. It goes over, I'm a religious believer or I'm a Manchester United supporter. They get relegated, and ice cream and get home gets to the top. And you're going to the shops, or you're going to the shops in your car. Everyone goes to the shops in their car. To the store in the car, and it's ice cream, ice cream. So the mobile phone rings and you can see it's Jimmy. And Jimmy says, can you pop over for 5 minutes? And you've got ice cream. You know, you're going to get slaughtered if you don't get that ice cream home. You go, no, Jimmy, can't. For the moment, Jimmy, who normally is very important, is not important. It's just the ice cream. But again, I don't think that adds up to real understanding. It is just systems in place that are doing. Because get ice cream and get home has been rammed to the top of the priority pyramid, that's what we refer everything to. Driving speed, whether to talk to Jimmy or not, whether to go round to Jimmy's just for 5 minutes or not, etc., etc., where to park, this, that, other. It's priority, ice cream, get home. But that's not needed to be understood by the brain. It just bloody well does it. Different parts of the brain have got different things lodged in them. And see, this is where I was with the video with PW yesterday. There is no one dominant part of the brain. You could say that the ice cream and get home rammed up in the priority pyramid, wherever that's stored in the brain, is running the show for the moment. That's it. And it's driving everything. But when the ice cream's home, Jimmy could get back up there and you go, oh, I was a bit rude to Jimmy, I better get Jimmy. Or you forget Jimmy and your belief in God or Manchester United slips back up to the top again. In the what the brain refers everything to. This, to me, even sounds a contrived way of trying to kick out understanding completely. But I do think that this is what the brain is not doing. It's not actually understanding and doing, because that would just be confusing. I mean, I'm thinking of these, say there are 500 different working parts of the brain that get things done somehow. Just inputs and things that are in there. Things go in and they just happen and come out. I can't see where understanding could be. It's just not a thing that I can conceptualize how a brain would use anything that we would call understanding. There's no need for a part of the brain to know what the overall system is doing. I think that it's a hang back to, again, what I was talking about to PW, that we like to think that there's something in the brain that knows what's going on. But even if you imagine that there is some part of the brain that is kind of watching what the other bits are doing in either an administration, managerial role or something, what's the point? What's the absolute point of it? I mean, it just wouldn't work. Nature is parsimonious. It doesn't do things. I can't see how a brain could set up to have the brain is not a hierarchical structured system. It's not a hierarchical structured system like everything it seems to create is a hierarchical. It's just a fucking mess that works best it can. A committee, if you like. Yeah, a committee, I've used it before, we'll go with it. Boardroom. Everybody has their shout. There's nobody in charge, and I'm pretty damn sure that there's no particular place in the brain that has an overall view of what's going on. There's just no need for it. It would be pointless. And I'm just sure it doesn't work that way. If it did, then I would attribute to that managerial part of the brain understanding, because it might understand what other different parts of the brain are doing. But I just don't think it works like that. I think it's just independent bits doing their independent bits with no upper management going to CEO and all that sort of stuff. It's not like that. It's just it's a communist mess. That was meant to be a quick video. Right, okay. Oh, bye.